Hi guys, Dr. Pulley here, and let's get started with Chapter 1, the basics of public speaking. Okay, the objectives for Chapter 1 are going to be define several terms: public speaking, channel, feedback, noise, decode symbol, denotative, and connotative. We're also going to explain what distinguishes public speaking from other forms of communication, list the elements of the communication process, explain the origins of anxiety and public speaking, or communication apprehension is also another term they use, some of the strategies for dealing with personal anxiety about public speaking, and discuss why public speaking is part of the curriculum for colleges and it's important in personal and your professional lives. So first, what is public speaking? It can be many things. An inaugural address, a sales pitch trying to convince people to buy a product or a service, a sermon at a church, could be a lecture in a classroom, could be a debate, why I should get a job if you're doing a job interview, why I should get a raise if you think you want to get a raise. Hey, one is an informative little speech about who I am and then why I'm a good fit for the company, and the other one is a little persuasive speech about why I deserve a raise. Okay, public speaking. Okay, this is an organized, face-to-face, prepared, intentional or rather purposeful attempt to inform, entertain, persuade a group of people, usually 5 or more, which is the requirement for the class speeches you have to do, through words, physical delivery, and at times visual or audio aids. Okay. Generally, the speaker in public speaking is the focus of attention for a specific amount of time, and that is the audience is basically passively listening. I'll give you some tips later on about how to make sure that they don't sort of walk on you when you're speaking. One example is to say, hey, by show of hands, as opposed to asking a question that they might blurt out an answer to. Okay, and there may be some back and forth, usually at the end or in a longer speech, to say a presentation or something that might be a class type activity or much longer than your 5-minute speeches. Okay, it's similar to a conversation, but it is more purposeful in that I've planned things out. It's highly organized. It has certain formal elements, including an introduction, main points, and a conclusion. In fact, an introduction should have several requirements, including a preview of what those main points will be. Then we go through the main points, and then we sort of sum things up in the conclusion. Sounds a lot like a paper for your English class. Okay, it is dependent upon resources, so outside of our personal experience, okay, these sources, if they're quality sources, are what we call borrowed credibility. If I write a paper and I put all my research at the end, my credibility is based upon the quality of those sources. That's what makes me credibility, because I've found good quality sources. And delivery is enlarged, projected. We're louder, we're more fluid, we're more energetic because we're trying to keep them paying attention in class. And we have to have this understanding that there's a mutual understanding of a mutual benefit for both the speaker and the listener. Okay, anxiety. This is what gets a lot of students. Okay, we don't like public speaking. In fact, if you ask people one of their top 3 fears, they will tell you public speaking. But if you ask employers what they want in an employee, good communication skills, including public speaking skills, is in their top 3 skills. Okay, glossophobia. This is from the Greek for tongue and fear or dread, which is the term for fear of public speaking. It's tied to several factors. One is self-efficacy. The other is self-confidence. Okay, past experience, our training or lack thereof. The culture we're in, does our culture allow us to make mistakes when it should? Okay, and the context, what's the setting? And is this, really important? Is this for a grade? Context, is it I'm answering a question in class, or is it a formal speech like we're doing for this class? Okay, many situations, responding in class, a job interview, or even interacting with a stranger. My wife's great at that. I'm not so much. Okay, several misperceptions we have. This all or nothing thinking we often have is this idea that if it's not perfect, we failed. Nothing's going to be perfect. In fact, I'm doing a screencast right now, which is part of what John Bergman and Aaron Sams called the flipped classroom type model. If we were meeting in class, I would then work with you and help you do the assignments. But in this case, it's a fully online class. And they always had this thing about the lectures, the videos that they had to make for their classes. And the question was, does it need to be perfect, or do I need it by Tuesday? Overgeneralization. This is, if I failed once, I'm going to fail again. This is not true in anything else. It's like if I have a bad golf swing, I don't just quit and go home. You try again. Okay. Fortune telling, which is this idea that I'm anticipating things are going to turn out badly. And so I've sort of gone in with a negative mindset. Okay. Intelligence and skill, we need to know and realize, are not fixed things. They are malleable, which is open to change. Okay. Obstacles and barriers are opportunities for growth, not quitting. Think video games. If any of you play video games, the first time you get cut off, you don't just stop and never play the game again. You keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Skateboarders fail an average of 100 times before they perfect a trick on skateboarding. Okay, two other fears that are part of this public speaking thing: a fear of failure, which is a real or perceived based on experiences in the past, that if I fail, I'm not going to do badly. So I've failed in the past, I'm going to fail again. There's this fear if it comes from a lack of preparation, in which case you're probably going to be a little afraid. Okay. And if you have rather a lack of knowledge about public speaking, which is what we're going to try and address in the front end of this class, is giving you some knowledge about public speaking and some of the things going on so you are better prepared to do your actual speeches. Not knowing the context or one's task, your task I hopefully will have clearly spelled out for you, and the context is you're doing speeches in a formal public speaking class for grades. Then there is the fear of rejection. This is the other second big fear, which is of self, that they're going to reject me as a person or of my ideas that I'm trying to present. Okay, this is a false belief. Okay, understand this: the audience, your classmates, want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. This is going to be a new experience for me because I've never done a fully online version of this course before. Like I said, I've done it for 17 plus years. But when I watch my students give speeches, at the end, I'm probably more worn out than they are because I'm back there like willing everyone to do well. And when you're watching 4, 5, 2 in longer class sessions, when I have block schedules, sometimes up to 10 speeches a class period, I'm emotionally exhausted by the end because I'm trying to want you to succeed. Okay, it's easier to listen to the speech, and practice helps. Okay. Addressing public anxiety, mental preparation. This is this idea of being mindful, focused on the task, putting other things out of my mind. Don't worry about the grade, worry about my delivery, worry about the preparation that I've done, and know that I'm prepared and ready to go. You know most of your classmates, especially those you're going to choose to be your 6 people in your audience, are probably going to be ones you actually know relatively well. Okay. Physical preparation, that is sleep and rest, clearly, which is sometimes a tough problem for high school students. But sleep and get some rest. Be fueled, a protein-based diet or something versus something very sugary. Wear comfortable clothes that you feel will look good in. You don't have to wear bow ties. That's okay. And stretching, which is going to address some excess energy, and even some speaking exercise to kind of warm up your voice a little bit. Okay. Well, more on the causes of what causes this excess energy and how to address it a little bit down here further on. Okay, moving on. More things on addressing public speaking anxiety. Contextual preparation, which is being mindful, again, focused on the task. In this case, is a assignment for a public speaking class. Again, you know most of your classmates, and as I said earlier, you're going to have especially know your choices. And your preparation, this is really important. You can write a paper the night before it's due or finish it the night before it's due and turn it in. You can't do that with a speech because you have to practice it to be able to deliver it. So right ahead, you have to practice. Okay, I'll require drafts and outlines in advance, and practicing and timing yourself builds confidence, which helps ease that anxiety. And you want to practice speaking out loud with any visual aid you're using, and if possible, an audience. Okay. Record them and watch. I might even require you guys to record some of those things as practice speeches to turn in as well. Okay. Moving on here, part of the issue with speech anxiety and public speaking anxiety or communication apprehension is this fight or flight symptoms. Our body pumps in adrenaline, but there's really no physical need. There's no bear chasing us. There's no imminent threat. We don't need to either fight to defend ourselves or run away. This pulls the blood from the oxygen and the digestion and sends it to our muscles, our limbs, so we can be ready to either defend ourselves or run away. That contributes to that sort of scatterbrained feeling. I can't think clearly because I'm pulling things from my brain and going to the hardwired things in our biology. And even that sense of butterflies in our stomach because it's stopping the digestive system. Also leads to things like my mouth is kind of dry because it's shutting down the saliva in that as well. So the energy goes to our legs, our hands, our sweat glands, or even our skin. Might cause us to get kind of flush in the face, and we get tensed up even, and that might lead us to think, I need to go to use the restroom, and that's a typical thing. Movement, okay? Moving around, stretching a little bit, like warming up in sports, can help burn off some of this excess energy. Vocal or physical movements like in theater or warming up in sports, these are kind of things that help us address that excess adrenaline and use it positively. Now, be aware. Now that we know the causes, shake it off and literally shake it off. Okay, that can help. Use that additional boost to improve your performance. But now that we know this is a natural common thing and that I can do these things to sort of address the issue, that should help us with our anxiety versus sort of spiraling and making it worse. Okay, remember, you never look as nervous as you feel, and the audience will tell you that when you're done.